Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwartner and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we have the great pleasure of meeting with Mark McNamara. He's the founder and CEO of the Enablement Group. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Gerhard. It's a pleasure to be here.
What surprised me in the conversation we had prior to this interview is your concept of enablement readiness. Can you share with the audience, what does that mean?
I think the best way to describe it is to talk about, a chef in a restaurant. Because what salespeople do is to create an experience with a buyer, to get them to understand the value that they provide and the trust, right? And a chef, you understand, sometimes takes multiple years to be prepared, but is always going to his cookbooks and his reference. And there's other people around them that help make that experience work. And when you think about sales readiness, that's exactly what organizations need to do. They need to be supporting the seller with the recipe and the related content that they need in order to make that experience work for the buyer. It boils down to this concept that everybody's talking about, which is content in context. But the problem has been all that content has to come from people in the organization. And until you have a plan to systemize that, to collect it and then distribute it doesn't work.
Help me understand the pillars of enablement readiness.
There's 4, and we talk about them in our academy. There's learning. Learning starts with day one for a seller. What do I do? Where do I go? How do I behave? There's so much you expect of a seller that if that's organized and working well, you'll push them through that really fast. The second thing is practice, right? We got to create muscle memory. It's not just about hearing it once, it's about hearing it over and over and over again. Then there is community. My manager, peers, help me. Where's that tribal knowledge coming from? How do we put it into something that somebody else can consume rather than a conversation? And then there's content in context, that performance support, where the criteria around that could create thousands of combinations, but it has to be spoon-fed. It has to be brought to the seller rather than making them go find it.
Yeah.
And those are the 4 pillars: learning, practice, coaching, community is coaching, and then ultimately content and context.
You're helping sales organizations of small to mid-sized companies to get all the ingredients ready and give them the strategy, which is the cooking methodology, to create that knowledge experience platform.
That's exactly right. And we've boiled it into a very good set of instruction and consultation where we can help organizations learn how to do it themselves, or in many cases, show us.
Mark, can you share one example of a successful engagement?
That was Extreme Networks. Dan Dulac, who at the time, he's still an executive there, was head of sales enablement. He and I partnered, and we basically took their technology landscape, we put it aside, and we churned out the content and built the infrastructure for them with augmentative technology that delivered such results. They were customers with us for 6 years.
And what was the bottom line ROI?
We increased sales team engagement participation by 350%. Quota achievement went up by over 24% on an annualized basis over multiple years. And we accelerated deals.
So if you're listening to this and thinking about your organization, if you want consistent growth year over year, you want to engage the Enablement Group and connect with Mark. Mark, what can they expect when they connect with you?
One, I'd encourage anybody listening to go ahead and scan that QR code at the end of our session here and sign up for our academy. Our academy has the cookbook. It is the cookbook that if they follow, we've got 18 training modules in there, learning modules, plus a whole toolkit that allows them to build a project plan and strategy all on their own. And we're available through there to answer questions in the community that's in there. And then as they mature in that, if they want more advice, give us a call. I'm always happy to get on the phone and discuss this with people.
Well, I want to share with the audience as well that Mark McNamara is going to be at the Sales 3.0 conference in Las Vegas on September 7th and 8th, and he will deliver a opening keynote in the morning of September 8th, and I don't want you to miss that.
Well, I appreciate it, Gerhard. I'm looking forward to meeting all of the registrants there and continuing to let people know what they're capable of achieving.